Fortifications fall and Britain decides. On the 31st, two main actions. Special War Order Number 1, the Army guarding D.C., Army of the Potomac, will move to attack Manassas Junction by February 22nd, as long as the capital is secure. So far, the Eastern Front has been relatively quiet. This has led to restlessness amongst the Union's populace. You see, many view the Western theater of the war to be a sideshow to the main events on the Eastern Front. But, on the 31st, way more importantly, Britain declares neutrality. Again, this is different from the Queen's Declaration when it comes to legalese. On the 1st of February, President Lincoln meets with Senator Charles Sumner of Massachusetts and, in addition, an influential abolitionist writer. Lincoln wants to strengthen his relationship with radical Republicans. After dismissing Fremont, he is losing touch with his base. But one person who can always help with that is Sumner, a good friend of the radical Republican wing of the party. In fact, Sumner is a pretty close advisor to Lincoln, starting to act like an additional cabinet member. On the 2nd, Captain David Farragut leaves on the USS Hartford, heading towards the Mississippi River Squadron. On the 4th, as Brigadier General Ulysses S. Grant continues his advance, the Confederates withdraw from Fort Hyman to Fort Henry. It's specifically because Brigadier General Charles Smith's division landed quite near them, hoping to prevent escape from Fort Henry to Fort Hyman. So far, things are going as planned for the Union. The 5th should be the day the infantry will lay siege to Fort Henry. But rain slows down that action. It gives time for Brigadier General Teichmann, the leader of the Confederate forces at Fort Henry, to abandon the 9-gun structure. But he doesn't entirely. He sleeps on a Confederate ship that night, and around midnight he tells Johnston his plans. A few rebels will remain at Fort Henry to inflict as many casualties as they can on the Union, while the rest will head for Fort Donelson. At Fort Donelson, the Confederates will stop Grant's advance. At noon, the Union gunboats arrive, 4 ironclads and 3 timberclads. The timberclads are staying back. They're going to bombard from a distance, while the ironclads with their strong armor will get up close and destroy the fort. And it actually goes very well to plan. The ironclads get quite up close. The entire fort structure is very low on the river, and despite being hit multiple times, only 1 ironclad suffers any serious damage. The USS Essex. A 32-pounder pierces the armor and hits the boiler of the ship. This causes steam to go everywhere. 4 are killed and 28 are wounded, including the captain, William Porter, who is blinded by the entire ordeal. But he still leads his ship through it, and after 75 minutes, the battle is over. As I said, the battle takes 75 minutes. Teichmann really only put up any sort of resistance to give his men more time to withdraw. 9 cannons, 94 men surrendered to the Union. 15 died during the battle and 20 were wounded. Teichmann called Fort Henry wretched military position. The history of military engineering records no parallel to this case. Grant tells Major General Henry Halleck, Fort Henry's is ours. I shall take and destroy Fort Donelson on the 8th and return to Fort Henry. Halleck reports to the War Department, Fort Henry is ours. The flag is reestablished on the soil of Tennessee. It will never be removed. Grant actually arrives at Fort Henry at 3 p.m., and 30 minutes later, McClellan's men arrive. This battle is a great showing for the Union, who took the fort with at most 40 casualties, though the fort is kind of useless itself. Half of it is already in the water, and not to spoil anything for next week, on the 8th, it's completely underwater. But the Union took it, and they got to show off the power of their ironclads. This is the first major showing of the ironclads, and they did very well. But most importantly, the way to Donelson has been opened up, a much more sturdy prize. But for our hero sickles, this week is trouble. There have been many spy ranks already set up on both sides, and information being leaked during war is no surprise. But what is surprising is that Wyckoff might have done it. What is this dangerous info he leaked? The president's speech to Congress, and he leaked it to a newspaper. It's actually a very serious charge, so he wants Sickles to be his legal counsel, though it's just more than this trial. It appears that the First Lady is indirectly on trial, because Wyckoff could have only accessed the president's speech if he had been invited there by her. So Sickles is going to have to pretty much defend also the entire White House. February 10th, the showdown will happen. That's where the week ends. The forts in the West opening up, and specifically Kentucky. Those Springs was just 2 weeks ago, and with this, things are looking very good for the Union there. It's actually quite a similar position to Missouri, where they have control over a majority of the territory, with a few small Confederate places in the most southern regions of the states. It actually also means Tennessee is next. The Mississippi has fallen into Union hands from the north to the middle section. Memphis, Nashville, these are now targets. But most importantly, Fort Donelson. This will control, in the end, Tennessee and Cumberland rivers. And those are major junctions for the Confederacy. If he can take them, he can effectively split the Confederacy in two, all the way down to southern regions of states like Alabama and Georgia. Those railways, those seaways, are the lifeblood of the Confederacy. Grant has threatened to split the entire breakaway nation in two. So the question just comes down to this. Will the Confederacy remain in one place, or will the assault on Fort Donelson fail? Well, it's the entire Civil War week-by-week team here. That is a weird motto to have. And I want a new outro. So if you liked the video, please like it. If you want to see more, you should be seeing suggested videos right about now. And if you want to know what happens next week, please subscribe. And if you want to share history, give me suggestions in a more easy way than YouTube comments, or want to tell me how wrong I am, please check out the channel's Discord.